morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what is called the Special Topics track on the PDF Association since PDF Days. My name is Dietrich von Seggern. I'm the moderator of this track, and I am also the first presenter in my track. And this first track, or this first presentation, is about PDFA and validation. And as we've just learned from Leonard, this is the only presentation that covers the validation topic here on the PDF Day. So I'm Dietrich von Seggern. I'm managing director at Callas software company, a PDF company here in Berlin. And I'm also member of the board of the PDF Association. After my presentation, there is lunch, and then after lunch, we go on in this track with presentations that are for pre-press and print, but also show a little bit of, because this industry obviously uses PDF a lot, and it uses PDF for professional purposes. So in fact, most of what they are doing, much of the stuff that they are doing is really managing PDF files just before they are going to be printed. So in a way, they have been the first industry that really used PDF for professional purposes. And I think everybody can learn about how this industry works with PDF files. So there are three presentations related to pre-press and print, and then there is the last presentation in this track for today is about how to translate PDF features into real benefits. So how can you really take advantage of PDF features today, not in PDF 2.0 or in next generation PDF. Okay, other than that, I really invite you to just ask any questions that you might have during my presentation, and I guess also for the other presenters in this track, if you happen to stay here, which would make me really happy. Okay, anyway, this is kind of the agenda for this first presentation. I have three topics. So when you look at PDFA, in fact, many things are happening these days there. The whole landscape changes, and the first thing is Vera PDF. So the order here is not by importance, it's just by occurrence. So the first thing that happens, and in fact it already has happened, is Vera PDF, and I will introduce you into that in a minute. We have heard about PDF 2.0 already, and that will materialize, meaning being published by ISO most probably within this year, and then PDFA next, and that will not be before 2018 or maybe even 2019. So what we will cover that in more detail later. Vera PDF. What is Vera PDF? Vera PDF is a project that was funded by EU. So it's a EU project, and the title for this is Preforma, which is an abbreviation for Preservation Formats Project. And that has actually three sub-projects. One is related to PDFA, and one to TIFF, like images, and another one to video. And the aim, and of course today we only talk about the first project here about PDFA. The aim of the whole thing was to develop an industry-supported open source validator. An open source validator for PDFA that should cover all PDFA conformance levels and standard parts, so like from PDFA 1b to PDFA 3u. And that was, EU published a tender for the project, and the project lead then took the PDF Association in developing the stuff together with the Open Preservation Foundation, an organization that is coming from archivists and libraries. So, and then there is a website, verapdf.org. Okay. This project has accomplished three things, I think. One is a test corpus, and this is again an overview, so it has accomplished these three things. The test corpus, and we will have a look at that, the open source validator, of course, and another, what I think very important thing is a tech node that has been developed in the project, and that is going to be published by the PDF Association. And I would like to introduce you to all the three of them. Who of you knows what Isotor is? May I just see hands? Okay, not many. So the Isotor test suite, or maybe it's just the pronunciation. In German you would say Isator. It's a test suite. It comprises of 204 test files, and it has been developed by the PDF Association. In fact, it has been developed when the PDF Association was known as what is today the PDFA Competence Center within the PDF Association. So the PDFA Competence Center, which is today part of the PDF Association, has in 2006, when PDFA was really a newborn child, developed a test suite in order to make sure that different validators from different vendors get to similar results. That was a major effort at that time because PDFA was still, as I've said, a newborn baby, and there were many questions that occurred when we started implementing stuff. And then in that area, when we were working on it, several discussions took place amongst vendors in order to agree on how a certain aspect of PDFA need to be interpreted, and that then was translated into test cases. So by now we are more in a mature industry. PDFA has evolved and is an established format, and so it was easier to work on that, what Isator actually is. And within the VeraPDF VeraPDF project, a new test corpus has been developed, which is far more extensive. So today, this test corpus comprises of 1,500 test cases, so it's about 6 times or seven times as many test cases, and it covers and it builds upon Isotor. So it's not a replacement of Isotor; it's an addition to what Isotor covers. And while Isotor only covered PDFA1B, this new test corpus covers all standard parts from PDFA1 to PDFA3 and all conformance levels. In addition to the fail tests that were in Isotor, we have now also pass tests, meaning it's also possible to check whether a valid PDFA file with a certain thing that is maybe difficult to validate, whether this passes the PDFA validation. And for us as callas software, as a vendor and a developer of PDFA software, this is the most important achievement of the VeraPDF project, because that, of course, allows us to improve our own regression testing. So whenever we release a new version, we can easily make sure that it complies to the requirements of the test corpus. Make sense? So that was a test corpus. That is a test corpus. It is available for download now to the open source validator. It is also available. It's in version 1.4 right now. There's an online a website, demo.verapdf.org, and you can download it. And as it's open source, you may as well download the sources. It's a command line tool with a GUI, and what you here see is the web interface. Okay. Yes, as I've said, it's currently version 1.4. It is not final, so the EU project lasts until June 2017, so until 1 month from now. But the developer of the software, which is Dual Labs, already said that they are going to maintain the software in the future. They will do bug fixes and so forth. And my expectation is that this is going to be the first reference in the future when it comes to differences between PDFA products. So we had that as callas software in a few projects where we have mixed PDFA programs, so a validator from the one company and a converter from the other company. It is rare, so it's not frequent that there are differences, but sometimes there are. And up until now, on a level where whenever we encountered such differences, we went to the other vendor and found out who is maybe right, which might be a bug, and then we resolved that. And verapdf, in fact, did this on a more foundational level. So right now it was a more systematic approach to the whole thing. It allowed us to, on a systematic level, find differences between different vendors or different implementations of PDFA. So where can you use verapdf? In my view on this is, of course, in all environments where you would only need validation, so when it's not about PDFA conversion, if it's only about validation, or you may need it and do it in conjunction with the converter in order to validate the results of what your PDFA converter gives you. So finally, there is the TechNote 10, and as I've said, we had once in a while in the past when you have applications from different PDFA vendors. Once in a while, there are differences. It was, as I've said in the beginning, it was one of the major tasks in the PDFA Competence Center, in the PDF Association, to make sure that all validators get to the same results. On the other hand, and I think we went pretty far at that time, but some cases were left, and this is, in my point of view now, a new approach to make this even more, or get the different PDFA implementations even more into sync. And this systematic approach, or this systematic new view on PDFA also resulted in a few ambiguities, 29 to be exact. So 29 ambiguities in the PDF standard text were identified and were written down. So ambiguities where different vendors came to different conclusions about how the PDFA standard has to be interpreted. And these 29 ambiguities obviously remain from the initial effort of the PDFA Competence Center. these ambiguities, as I've said, were written down and summarized in a document. And this document was then taken to ISO 171, to the ISO committee that is responsible for PDFA, and were discussed in the committee. That is the Tech Note 10. So all the results, so the committee discussed all these ambiguities, came to results, and they were confirmed. And then it was written into this small Tech Note. And this Tech Note is now in a final ballot in the PDF Association. It will be sent out to the members of the PDF Association. It will be asked for comments, and it will be another ballot, and then it goes into publication. So the rather unsystematic approach that we had in the past years has now been summarized, and this, in difference to all the other stuff. So what had happened was before. There is a difference, and we discussed usually by email with another vendor how this should be resolved and what conclusion can we come up with. So and it was never really, usually not really a big issue in order to get to a conclusion. So, but then all this stuff was only by email discussed. So there is a public email mailing list. So it was not that it took place in a secret, but it was not available to everybody and not available as a document to look it up. And this is going to change right now with this Tech Note. Yes?
When that goes through the final ballot and is signed off on, what is the time frame when everyone will, quote, apply for it? Will that then be within the 29 ambiguities then eliminated? What we now have? The standard for PDFA, which we were hoping to get, we will finally have that?
Expectation, yes. So by now we are already compatible. So I expect that there won't be any changes in the Tech Note. And we, in the current version of our product, we already use the test cases, the test corpus from Vera PDF, and so far. We can say we are already compatible, and I pretty much expect that other vendors will do the same.
Will there be a set date, or will they just say, okay, this is what it is, and then they will say they're either in compliance or not? If we have a
Yeah, so there isn't a fixed date because there is no official validator validation. So there is, and there is no law or so that would require to.
We could say, I want all that, and if your software doesn't, then I don't take it.
Yeah.
So it's a vendor that wasn't compliant.
Right. Okay. So you can say I want that your software is compliant, or I don't talk to you. And if not, and the only means to check that is a test corpus, in fact. So, and of course what he confirms to you.
Good.
But that's it. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So it will be the users holding the vendors.
Yeah, as it was with PDFA. So it's in that regard, it's the same process.
It's more something in the hand to deal with if it's documented.
Yeah, and as I've said, so usually it was not the problem to get to a conclusion with another vendor. So that wasn't the problem. The problem was more how to make this public and to just not get to an agreement between two vendors, but between all the vendors that are in the field, right? And that was, as I've said, so it was, because this was an ongoing process, it was never really in a document.
Well, this formalizes it where we...
Yeah, and maybe I think I have, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it formalizes it, and in a few cases, it was so that really what was written in PDFA was just not good, because it made the whole conversion utterly complex and with
we had questions ourselves when we were trying to use PDFA where it was ambiguous, and so that would help eliminate those.
Exactly.
Have a more solid foundation.
Exactly. So in very rare cases, this document really says, okay, what PDFA says is. It looks like what is mean is this or that, but in fact that is not the case. So we were very careful careful about that, but in a few cases where it really was so, and we were 100% sure that what was written there has never been meant by the authors of the thing, then it was...
This is where all the vendors got to look at it too and say, okay, we'll go with this interpretation.
Right. Yeah, and then it was not the vendors or more the PDF association, then the whole thing was taken to the ISO, where more is the PDF community, not just vendors, everybody who's more looking on it from a PDF point of view, and got a confirmation from there. Okay? So in many cases, in fact, ISO has said, no, we keep as it is. We understand that it would be more practical to do it different, but we keep it for the current standards as is, but we will take over for PTF 2.0.
All positive.
Okay, anyway. So first, we've got these ambiguities, but the main message here is there, and I think that already became clear by what we have discussed so far. None of them is really a PDF problem. So it in no way is affected how the PDF works when it comes to rendering for a conformance level B, or when it comes to accessibility, or for text indexing and search for conformance level U. So the PDFs are all good. It was just about technical details that may or may not be present in a PDF file, and where one PDFA vendor could say that is not in agreement with what PDFA says, while another one has a different interpretation. So it's the PDFA files will in no way improve by this tech note. What is being improved is the interoperability of PDFA programs. I think that is very important to understand, and I have just to show on what level we are here. I have 3 examples, so I don't ask you to really remember them. So, but I want to give you a feeling about what is there. So the first is a named resource not used for rendering. So a resource in a PDF file could be a color space, for instance. So you can when you write down how your PDF should look like, you say, okay, now load me device CMYK, a color space. And then device CMYK is loaded, but then you don't paint anything, and after some time, after some calls, you just say, now load me ICC-based CMYK or ICC-based RGB. So now PDFA says, as long as if you use device CMYK, meaning a device color, you need to have a device-independent output intent. So now would this file that only references device CMYK be valid or not? On the one hand, it is referenced. On the other hand, it's never used for painting. And so the conclusion here was, in fact, yes, it is a PDFA problem, right? So it doesn't really make a difference, but of course, it's just good that vendors agree on having the same view on it. In fact, we've done, of course, some research in our test pool. I didn't find any PDF file that would have or would be constructed in such a way, and it doesn't obviously not make sense to do so, but still there is an agreement now. And then it is second case, it's about XMP metadata, about value types in the metadata. So to what regard is a PDFA file invalid if, let's say, a structured value type for address uses text in what is supposed to be the zip code? Is this a PDFA problem or not? And so it was agreed on that only simple value types like number or text should be validated, but not structure. And the last one I also want to explain, because I believe this one is the only one that can really change things in so far as a PDFA file that has been valid by today may not be valid when it comes to a Vera PDF-based validation. And that has, again, to do with metadata, but not with document-level metadata, only with metadata that is attached to an image, to a font, or to a page in a PDF file. So object-level metadata. Um, Unfortunately, PDF A1A is pretty clear here. It just says metadata object stream dictionary shall not contain the filter key, which basically means shall not be compressed. So it's about compression. I think everybody agrees that this is unfortunate because on the one hand it makes the PDF file bigger, and on the other hand, what you really want to achieve by disallowing compression for metadata is you can read the PDF file with just a text parser, and you can identify where the metadata is and read it without really needing or having to use a PDF application. However, if you would find many metadata objects in your PDF file, one is related to the document and the others are attached to fonts and images, then it becomes difficult to find out which one belongs to which object and which is actually related to associated with a document, and usually you only are interested in document level metadata. So the whole provision is unfortunate, but on the other hand, it's pretty clear how it has been written in PDFA. So the TechNet now says, okay, metadata must not be compressed, period. And that is, and I believe, at least we, and I believe also other vendors, always interpret it in a different way. Because it just doesn't make too much sense as it is written, but on the other hand, after its standard is published, it becomes from something you can discuss into kind of a Bible, and then you have to agree to it and to conform to it. So that's it. What we now do in our, and it's, again, it's not frequent, but there are very few cases in our own test corpus, in our internal test corpus, that had this problem. What we now do, we simply remove this metadata that is attached to the object, because in what we know from our projects, usually users are not interested in that metadata that is not attached to the document. But you can modify it if you want for their profile. Anyway, this is, I believe, the most important change from a usability level. Okay, and that is kind of the summary. So what were the achievements of Vera PDF? There is a test corpus, which is much more extensive than what we had up until now, like the Isator. Then there's an open source validator that can be used in project, and then there's TechNote. Any questions so far? So then let's move on to PDF 2.0. We already heard a little bit of it. So it's a completely new topic, of course. The only, what I can say, okay, the conjunction to Vera PDF is that some of the clarifications that we have been found there, and I've mentioned that before, have been taken over to PDF 2.0. So PDF 2.0, to be expected in maybe the earliest is fall 2017, maybe end of 2017. I think it's a better guess. Yeah. In this part of my presentation, I will concentrate on what PDF 2.0 means for PDFA. In the next presentation, Dov Isaacs, right after lunch from Adobe, will give more information about the background of PDF 2.0, about the history and some other stuff. And then tomorrow morning, you will have the presentation from Peter Wyatt that also is about PDF 2.0. So right now, I want to concentrate on what PDF 2.0 means for PDFA. Yeah, I have a couple of things I want to mention here. One thing is that already today ISO is working on new standard parts for the most frequently used PDF ISO standards, like for PDF-A, PDF-E, PDF-UA, PDF-X. and that I will cover later in this presentation. So I have 3 slides about new features of PDF 2.0 that I think could be relevant in PDFA projects. First, PDF 2.0, in my personal opinion, is not revolutionary. So it's a more stable foundation for future developments, but it's not revolutionary when it comes to features. So, and that is will be changed with next generation PDF. It's more housekeeping, cleaning up. It has been a major effort at ISO. It definitely has. It took, I think, 7 years in order to do that, but it's not revolutionary. So first, we are here at encryption and signatures, and there the headline could be it's just more modern and more state of the art. It allows. So maybe I can already say, so the whole encryption has not changed in PDFA and will not in the future. So as it is with PDFA 1 through 3, encryption is disallowed in PDFA. Nevertheless, it may be interesting in PDFA projects. So encryption means you need a password in order to at least fully use the PDF file, maybe just in order to edit or print it or just to open it. And since security is the importance of security becomes important every day, as we all know, everybody who is looking in a newspaper. So, and in order to just be prepared for any future developments, PDF 2.0 says you may use what is called a security handler. Basically, the algorithms that you use for encryption and de-encryption. You may use a security handler that is not defined in PDF 2.0. So you may use your own or a more modern security handler, and obviously then not every viewer will be able to decompress or decode the PDF file. What you can do then, you can write a PDF wrapper around your encrypted information so that at least somebody who would try to open it can see, okay, this PDF file requires this or that encryption handler or security handler in order to can be fully accessed. Yeah, and then you have more powerful encryption algorithms already built into PDF 2.0. So that's about encryption. And then about signatures and certificates. And that very well applies to PDFA. You have more powerful certificates. Signatures are based on the PDF Advanced Electronic Signature Standard, which is called PADIS, developed by ETSI, so an international standard that is more or less accepted and established in the security world. And PDF 2.0 is also prepared for expiration of certificates. So who is familiar with security and signatures? It's so you use a certificate in order to prove that you are the person who is allowed to open the PDF file. But who knows a little bit about certificates. Every certificate expires after some time. It depends a little bit on the algorithms that are used for their creation, but they will expire. So if you would use a certificate in order to sign your PDF file and it's then going to the archive, then the certificate may expire after 3 or 4, 5 or 4 years, and you would want to find that out by just briefly looking into the PDF file without a requirement to completely read it. And that information basically isn't available in new dictionaries in a PDF file. So when it comes to long-term signature validation, it makes it easier to establish a layer in your archive that deals with expiring certificates. Okay? Second, it's more or less about metadata. There is a means to have geospatial coordinate systems. So when you have a PDF file that basically consists of a map or a satellite, you can have absolute information about where this map or satellite images on Earth is located. You have new annotation types, but again, these are more or less modern versions of what already is there. So you have 3D annotations, we have a new kind of 3D annotation, we have a rich media annotation, and that more or less replaces what you today have with sound and video annotations. But we can keep this short because that will be disallowed in PDF-A as it is today. And then there is a little bit with color. You have page level output intent, but this will be covered by much more in detail by Dorf in the next presentation because that obviously has a lot of to do with printing. Finally, conformance level. So ISO yeah, so this is related not to, I was confused myself, right? So this is related not to PDF-A conformance level, but it's related to the foundation of conformance level. So tagged PDF obviously is only used in PDF-A for accessibility, meaning conformance level IA, and that has been improved as well. So there are, who is familiar with tagged PDF knows that there are tags like the P tag for a paragraph or H1 for a headline, and then there are a couple of new ones of these standard structure types, and it's also easier to extend these structure types for tags by using namespaces. So it's the foundation is more modern and easier extensible for tagged PDF. And then for embedded files, it was actually the other way around. All the provisions of PDF-A3, which allows for any file format to be embedded into a PDF-A container. And then there was some metadata that was required in PDF-A3 for that. And this metadata is now also present in PDF-2.0. So that by now, up until now, it was more a private a requirement of PDF-A3. This kind of metadata was not written in or specified in the PDF specification, and that will change with PDF-2.0. And then a few things are deprecated, and these are definitely important for PDF-A. First, and that is, I don't know, who of you knows what a char set or a CID set is? Yeah, this is really not nobody really uses it, but it was really a pain when you're doing PDF-A conversion, but not because nobody really does it right in real life, but PDF-A required that it is right. Although by now we know from the experiences we have with PDF-A, but because by now we know that nobody really does it right, and therefore we can be sure that nobody really uses it. So the PDF-A, the PDF-2.0 committee, the project has basically decided to get rid of it, so it's not in PDF-2.0 anymore. Same to XFA forms, which is a special kind of form field. The document information, so up until now you can have in PDF two kinds of metadata on document level, the XMP metadata and the document information. The document information basically is what you see when you just open document properties, and if you click on additional metadata, you enter into the XMP area. With PDF-2.0, the first dialog will go away. So the whole document information metadata is never, the only mention of it in PDF-2.0 is that it is deprecated. And then there are a few outdated digital signature types that are not supported anymore. Any questions to PDF 2.0 when it comes to PDF-A? So then we move on to PDF-A next. So PDF-A next is kind of a new version of PDF-A. And since PDF 2.0 comes out, we had a discussion at ISO. We know that the standard parts might be confusing. However, on the other hand, it really makes sense to have a PDF-A standard that builds upon PDF 2.0, and so most probably this is going to be published sometime next year or so. What has been taken into account while developing it, of course, PDF 2.0, but also the results from the Vera PDF, from the tech note are taken over, and also lessons that we've learned while our customers are using PDF-A 2 and 3 in reality. So just a few slides more on this. First, most probably the name of it will be PDF-A 4. Second, we heavily discussed about conformance levels. The understanding was that all these conformance levels, A, B, and U, are rather confusing for many people. So we tried to get rid of them, but we not fully accomplished that. So we will get rid of U, which means Unicode, and you need all text. So what you would need if you want to search for text in a PDF file or copy text, what you need is Unicode representation for all text. So basically in A, the character A is not just the outline of the character A, but also the meaning that this is an A and not just an X or whatever. That is covered by conformance level U. So in fact, it would be a good thing, and we discussed to make this a requirement for each and every PDF-A file. The only thing that was against it was that in documents you frequently have these bullet points or other characters that are not really characters, but they are signs, and that they're used in a technical way because they are based on a font. From the PDF point of view, on the technical way, they are very well are characters. So result is we will get rid of this conformance level U. The Unicode representation requirements will be in PDF-A 4, but only as a should, only as a recommendation, not as a shall. Does it make sense for you? So, okay. And then there is PDF-A 3. I already mentioned this is about any file formats being embedded, and that goes into the only conformance level that we will have for current stand of the discussion for PDF-A 4, and that is going to have the name PDF-A 4F. So because some really argued that this is a feature, it's a powerful feature in certain projects to be able to embed any file format, but for many archives, this is just a no-go. Okay, overall structure, so I think the rest is, we can keep it pretty short. So what has been taken over from PDF 2.0? Of course, I've mentioned document information goes away, and then there was a requirement to have the values in sync between document information and XMP, but since there is no document information, we get rid of that requirement. Color will be supported, so the new ways to define color in a device-independent way in a PDF file, you can do that in PDF-A. I've already mentioned CID set and char set will go away, so we don't need to check for that or to take in a conversion process, make sure that they are in a correct way. Support of new signatures, but not for encryption. And the improvements for text PDF will also be taken over. So you can use them, but there is no dedicated conformance level for that. The new interactive annotations are disallowed as they have been in PDF-A 1 through 3. JavaScript this is a new thing. The plan is to allow for JavaScript in PDF-A files, which is not the case in the current versions, but only a viewer, a non-interactive processor is not allowed to execute the JavaScript, so he has to ignore it. But the JavaScript can be used and executed when invoked in an interactive PDF-A processor. So you may have it in a PDF file, in a PDF-A file, but there are rules how to deal with it. And then there is a provision that there is a new metadata for thumbnail images and new metadata entry for thumbnail images, and it said that viewers or processors must not use it for rendering the page. Yeah, and that is another pain in current PDF-A validation and conversion, and that is when you have metadata with custom fields, so not the predefined ones that are already specified in XMP, but your own metadata. By now you need an XMP extension schema in PDF-A 1, 2, and 3, and that is not required anymore in PDF-A 4. So basically what we learned from real life project, nobody really used these extension schemas. They were only there because the law just said they have to be there, law being the PDF-A standard. So, and now there is a different way. So basically what is possible but not required is to embed something that works similar to DTD for XML, to a schema for XML. This is called RelaxNG. You can embed it and you can use it, this RelaxNG schema, in order to validate whether the metadata that is actually there complies to what is specified in this schema. Okay? Yeah, I think that is a summary now. Yeah. So this is what I have covered, and what is, I believe, will change the PDF-A world a little bit in the upcoming months and years. There's Vera PDF that is available more or less by today. Then there is PDF 2.0 that will come out in this year sometime, most probably, and then there is PDF-A next that will materialize, I don't know, in 2018 and 19. That's it. Any questions? Yes, please.
I didn't quite understand the signature on a PDF-A. That's
So,
allowed.
Yeah.
Then the signature certificate expires. Presumably the file still validates as PDF-A even with an expired certificate.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but only if you, so PDF-A has no requirement that a certificate cannot be expired. So that is not a provision in PDF-A, but in some projects that use PDF-A, they have the requirement that the certificate then needs to be renewed. So some may say that you don't need that because the certificate basically only proves that it has been you who has it been signed when it was signed, but it does not say that there still is a valid certificate for you. So this is not a requirement of PDF-A at all. But some projects may say, if there is a certificate, then we want to double check, I don't know, every 3 or 5 years, whether such a new certificate still is available, and we then want to embed it into the PDF file over what has already been there. Okay?
Okay.
Anybody else who has a question that prevents you from taking lunch? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So I'd like to ask the relationship to the new PDF-A standard, the next and the PDF-A 4 to the old standard. I think I didn't really understand that what will be the relationship to the PDF-A 1A, whether the accessible will be still recommended as for next usages, or the new standard will replace the old ones. what would be the recommendation?
Okay, it will. Okay, a PDF A1A file, A1A file will remain to be a valid PDF A1A file, and nobody on earth would say that it is a bad thing to have a PDF A1A file in an archive.
Okay.
So nobody on earth, neither ESO nor somebody else. However, then there is a new standard, and if you, I don't know, start a new PDFA project or say, okay, from now on we achieve more and more PDF 2.0 files. And we don't, of course, the converters will at first start allowing you to convert a PDF 2.0 file into a PDF A1 file. So that would be, does it make sense? So I have a PDF 2.0 file with, let's say, new signatures, and then a converter would have to allow you to, I don't know, remove the signature or replace it maybe with another one. That would be difficult, but a converter would have to deal with the situation when you ask him to convert a PDF 2.0 file into PDF A1 file, right? But after some time, you may say, okay, but I don't want my converter to remove all this stuff because I like it and I want to have it in my archive. And then you in your archive may decide to switch, I don't know, on June 1, 2018, to switch to PDF A4. And from then on, all the files in your archive should or shall then be compatible with A4 instead of compatible with PDF A1. But you only need to do so if you want to use the new features of PDF 2.0. Does it make sense?
The standard PDF A4 will support accessibility features.
Right. Yeah. You were specific. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. You were specifically for accessibility. Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
There's no change there. I guess I have to look it up myself, actually, to be honest. But there is no requirement to be accessible, but you definitely are allowed to. So, thank you very much. I hope to see you back when it comes to DOF ISAX right after lunch, but now I hope you enjoy lunch. Thank you.